Too many communities across Australia resemble wastelands where there's a lack of hope, where people are trapped in a cycle of dysfunction, of generational abuse, of unemployment, of substance abuse, and of course the growing homelessness crisis that's gripping the country. Seedbeds is a program that was birthed in Birmingham in the United Kingdom, in some of the poorest communities there, by pioneers such as Ash and Angie Barker. Now, their approach to community development was not to see what they could do to the community or for the community, but rather they moved into the community, they moved into the neighbourhood, they got to know the people, and as a result of getting to know the people, they were able to adopt a different perspective. They were able to see the invisible treasure that lay within those communities. They were able to approach it not from a posture of what's wrong that we can fix, but what's strong and how do we unleash that to enable communities to bring their own solutions. The Changemakers program is about working with communities to discover the emerging leaders who really can be the change makers of the future. And we encourage them to move from doing things to people and doing things for people, and over time building relationships so that we can do things with people and in time be the recipients of things being done by these emerging community leaders.
Changemakers is for those people who love their community and want to see change happen. They come from all kinds of backgrounds, all kinds of educational experiences, but what they have in common is they have a heartbeat for their community.
Emerging leaders, but people, for many of whom have had extremely broken and traumatic pasts. And through the program, they're encouraged to really understand their journey and the things, the good, the bad, the traumas that have shaped them to become the people that they are.
To start to rewrite the voices that have been in your head from a young age telling you what isn't right about you, and now you're just finding that strength within.
We've then put them through the Strength Finders program. And for some of these people, for the first time, they've started to look at and started to examine and wrestle with what's strong about them. Not what's wrong about them. And so they've started to understand their strengths. And then we've moved them to really explore what's the why, what's that deep purpose that is going to drive them and their endeavours going forward. And then finally we've coached them and brought all of those things together, their journey, their strengths, their why. And we've looked at, okay, how can that manifest in a community project that's going to make a big difference.
And it's the first time in my life where I've really found a home and a place for me and a place to be and a place where I'm actually doing things that matter.
Some of the projects seem modest, but the reality is they're going to be delivered by people who live in the community, who know their neighbours and love their neighbourhoods. And so there's a real sustainability. Our vision is to walk with communities across Australia and to help this Changemakers program to be a tool that local leaders, local churches, local community groups can utilise to identify the hidden potential in their communities, to equip those people and to unleash real change. And our dream is to see wastelands become seedbeds of hope.
This whole Changemakers experience allows people to re-story, to rewrite parts of the story about themselves, parts of their identity, parts of their lessons, their life that they may have looked at one way, and this Changemakers process gives them a chance to revise that, to re-story that, to re-narrate it, to see strengths where they might have seen deficits, to be able to look at a life lesson as a tool builder, and to be able to think about the toolbox that they carry with them in life.
Helping us find capacity to keep going, that it's almost like the grit that comes from going through hard stuff.
There has been some deep change in you, and you've realised just how much you have to offer.
Anyone could be involved in community organisation and development. All you need to do is have a heart for people, and that's what Seedbeds Australia is all about. It's about trying to help people, our local heroes in our communities, be able to tap into the strengths that they've been given by God in order for them to see a community emerge out of poverty into a real sense of purpose and hope.